3 back pieces on 3 canvases at the same time.
That's crazy.
When placed side by side, all 3 back pieces must create one interlocking image.
How the do we do this?
Welcome, artists. You have an intense challenge ahead of you. You must create a 12-hour tattoo.
A 12-hour tattoo is a big deal. Whatever this piece is, it has to be huge.
And you must tattoo a part of the body that is typically covered, so the skin is very fragile. The gluteus maximus.
Butt tattoos suck. It's just fat and jello. Technical application is desperately important. You could blow out a line so easy.
Your tattoo must fill both glutes. You will have 6 hours to tattoo one glute today and 6 hours to tattoo the other glute tomorrow.
Damn.
And your time starts now.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do this.
Let's get this stencil going.
It's near impossible to get a critique that doesn't involve you crying afterwards.
I'm having a mental battle inside myself. The judges are in my head.
Robbie's alien is very mangled, very chewed up. The skin has gone through a lot of trauma. I'm sure this client is not going to be up for very much more wear and tear.
15 minutes remaining.
You can do it.
I'm gonna die.
Don't die. I need you to stay alive, because I have a whole nother butt cheek to tattoo tomorrow.
This guy is in some serious pain. If my canvas is not able to sit for this, I am totally screwed.
How you doing, buddy?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Machines down, time's up. No more tattooing.
What do you think?
Oh my God, wicked awesome.
Come over and look in the mirror.
Yeah, crazy pain, but it came out perfect.
You ready to do another one tomorrow?
Ready.
All right.
Many times, as a tattoo artist, you must finish what someone else started. And today, you must complete another artist's tattoo. And another artist will be finishing what you started.
Are you serious right now? This is bull.
You must all give your current design to the canvas's new artist. You can alter the design you're handed, but you cannot touch the glute that has already been tattooed.
This is ridiculous.
This is the ultimate head-to-head comparison on the same canvas. You have 6 hours to complete your glute tattoo. And remember, if your technical application isn't flawless, you'll be packing your machines. And your time starts now.
Let's do this.
Getting your glutes tattooed 2 days in a row is absolutely brutal. Today, more than ever, technical application is important because you want to get in and get out, avoiding as much skin trauma as possible and being efficient.
All right, you ready?
I guess so.
It's too late to turn back now, right?
Oh man.
Oh my God.
This is gonna suck.
Your left side is so swollen, it's almost impossible to match this up perfectly.
Dawn's side, it's a completely different size because of her swelling.
This isn't your fault. This is just because you got worked so hard in one day.
I have to make a tattoo identical to the left side, but if I can't match up the goddamn stencil, I'm screwed.
I might try and do it again while you're laying down.
Oh, bitch, mother.
How you doing over there, Josh? Getting it together?
It's happening, man. I don't have a choice, right?
That one took me down to the wire yesterday.
Jason should definitely be worried. Going against me, he doesn't have a chance.
It's getting there.
1 more hour remaining.
Robbie really gave this bud a beating yesterday. All I gotta do is a clean new school piece on the other side, and I got this.
And went full koi. Oh, hell yeah. There's no comparison between me and Mark, especially when it comes to tattooing traditional Japanese.
Looking sick. Nice big piece.
Thanks, dude.
Mark, if you say you do Japanese work, you better go back to the drawing board, brah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Machine's down. No more tattooing.
It matches up perfectly.
Looks so nice.
This week, you tattooed for 12 hours. 6 hours on one glute and 6 hours on another glute, finishing another artist's design. Each glute you tattooed will be compared side by side with the other artist's tattoo on the other glute. One of you will win and one of you will lose. Clean and Julia, let's start with you. Let's start with clean side. Your design overall was really smart. The addition of the bow to bring it to both sides worked really, really well.
The color palette's nice. It works well. Overall, man, it's a good job.
Let's move along to Julia's side.
It definitely doesn't stack up. If you look at the letters and you look at your two little S's at the end of sweetness, they look nothing like the S at the beginning of sweetness. Your technical application is just not there. I think that Julia made smart decisions choosing this one, but it's obvious that Clean's technical application is much stronger.
Clean.
Clean.
The winner of the head-to-head competition is Clean. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Up next, Julia and Eric.
I think Julia's technical application here is lacking in certain areas. The color in that flower could have been a lot brighter. You could have left a lot more open skin to let that thing breathe, and it does kind of look muddy.
Eric, let's talk about your piece.
Technically, it's done nice. The way you let the skull breathe, the way there's tons of skin in there, at least one side of this lady's butt looks nice.
Let's have a final decision.
Eric's tattoo is much nicer.
Eric.
Eric.
The winner of this head-to-head is Eric. Congratulations, man. Eric and Robbie.
All right, Eric. Technical application, there's a lot of really clean lines, a lot of nice painterly effect shadings, and good color tones.
Robbie.
The tree and the icicles, really nice, but you don't have a good fundamental stronghold on backgrounds. His side, everything has a flow or a movement to it. Your side, it's a lot stiffer, and that's the big point that stands out.
Final decision?
Eric.
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 Congratulations, man. Robbie and Mark.
Well, Robbie, the main thing here is your technical application. You caused a lot of damage to this lady's skin. There is so many areas that are just abrasively overworked.
Let's move along to Mark's tattoo.
I think this is a cute little new schoolgirl tattoo. You got nice saturation in your blue, in the sky, and technically, this is a very sound tattoo.
Final decision?
Mark.
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 Congratulations, man. Up next, Mark and Jason.
Mark, I would have gone softer because it's a lady, not such hard black at the edges, and the water's a little bit stiff.
Let's move along to Jason.
Some nice clean line work. The little details in the eye look really nice. Really, man, it's a clean tattoo.
Mark versus Jason.
Going with Jason.
I'm going with Jason.
Jason.
Congratulations.
All right, man.
Let's take a look at the next tattoo. Jason and Josh.
All right, Jason, the problem I have with this tattoo is the roses. No skin to breathe, no highlights, just oversaturated with too many of the same tones of color. That's technical application, and it's off, big time.
Let's move along to Josh.
You took a lot of the mistakes in Jason's drawing and fixed them. You attached the forward sails in the correct manner. Leaving the open color in the roses lets each rose stand apart. I like it.
Final decision.
Josh.
I'm gonna go with Josh.
Josh.
Congratulations, man. Josh, your canvas never came back and got finished up, so there's no one to compare you with, but this is great.
Josh, I think this is a great job capturing this look of space with minimal use of black. There's 12 people behind you. I think 9 or 10 of those people would not have been able to live up to this.
No need to poll the judges. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
Well done.
All right, thank you.
Don and Aaron.
Well, Don, realistically, this is pretty clean. Your color blends are really nice, and for the amount of coverage you have on the skin, it's nice saturation. You did a good job.
Aaron, on day one, you chose to not tattoo because you were in pain. This is your only shot in proving that you deserve to stay here. Why did you choose this one?
I knew that I could do it in an amount of time, and I knew I could do it well. I definitely wouldn't have designed it like that, but it was already there.
I like the way you end the wing better. It's a much cleaner ending than yours is, Don. And your really sculpted black outline is very clean.
Thank you.
Final answers.
I'm going with Don.
I'm going with Aaron.
Aaron.
Congratulations, you won this head-to-head. Don and Clean.
Well, Don, overall, this tattoo's really strong. I know it's tricky working on a butt cheek, especially when you got somebody yanking on the other butt cheek.
The line work has so many inconsistencies going straight down the anchor that it really stands out.
Let's move along to Clean's tattoo.
The line weight difference between the exterior of the jewels and the little lines on the inside give it that crisp, sharp look. Technically, this is a very sound tattoo.
Thank you.
All right, so it's time to poll the judges.
Going with Clean.
Going with Clean.
Clean it is.
Clean, congratulations, man. Angel and Chris. In no way do these appear as though they work together or go together.
It was supposed to be a head-to-head with a Spartan and a Persian.
I didn't like the idea that they were gonna look like they were battling on his butt to get in the crack. And my idea for it was he was coming home from battle trying to get to his wife.
That doesn't come across either.
Well, Angel, just looking at your piece, that exterior outline around the shield is just probably some of the worst example of outline. Shading in this guy's torso, very scribbly. This is not a well-executed tattoo by any means.
Chris.
This is the best tattoo I've seen you do here. You do have some soft, smooth shading in here. I do like what you did with the nostrils and the nose. This is definitely your shining moment.
Judges, do we have a decision?
Chris.
Chris.
Chris, congratulations. Next up, Chris and Taisha. Let's take a look at Chris's tattoo.
Technically speaking, you have some moments of nice outline, but realistically, man, this thing is all kinds of disturbing and just odd. I can't even rip it, really, because it's so weird.
Let's move along to Taisha.
It is a more understandable, pleasant image, but it's not as sound. The areas on her neck, in that eye socket, it's not as saturated or as smooth as what Chris did. I'm gonna go with Chris.
Just in terms of aesthetically pleasing, I'm gonna go with Taisha.
I'm gonna go with Taisha.
Taisha, congratulations.
Thank you.
Taisha and Emily.
Well, Taisha, this is a very unattractive tattoo. That green, bad smell, stench, what in the hell?
Let's move along to Emily.
More of this horrible green, swirly background is a bad idea.
You did very minimal outline, and where you did, it's just not consistent.
It's hard to pick a winner out of either one of these things.
I'm not gonna say that somebody won with this.
I mean, the designs, this is technical ability. You can't pick between the two of them.
You guys have equally bad outlines.
They both lose on this one.
There is no winner in this head-to-head challenge. Wow. Emily and Angel. Let's address Emily's side first.
There's so many bad areas in these tentacles. Some are super thin, some are super thick. Your little underside suction cups are just haphazardly half circles. Very inconsistent.
Let's move along to Angel.
I will say this in your favor. The areas of the blue swirls in the background, yours do appear to be smoother.
No hammerhead looks like that. They do not have that shape head.
Well, I followed the crap that she laid out, so...
Should have redrawn it if you thought it was that.
If it's something that the outline, then you know what? I should have just followed my own.
You, Angel.
You too.
Y'all can each other all you want. Both these tattoos suck.
Final decision?
And I'm gonna go with Angel, just because the smoother color blends.
I'll go with Angel.
I'll go with Angel as well. Winner of this head-to-head challenge is Angel. You'll have 6 hours to create interlocking tattoos. And based on your work, one of you will close shop. Good luck.
These artists are gonna have to show adaptability because they have to do everything from the drawing
Nice to meet you.
to actually applying the stencil, to color palettes, execution. If one artist is weaker, it's really gonna show.
Your time begins now.
All right, bro.
Let's do it.
Do this.
Get that stencil on, and then I'll get mine on, and then we're jamming.
We're gonna have to stop, have him get up and coincide a few times, okay?
Ready, partner?
Yep. I'm sculpting the skull just a little bit on the outer edge.
Getting paired up with Eric means I'm gonna do a badass tattoo with him, but going head to head, I know I'm the stronger artist.
Thanks for picking me, Eric. I appreciate it.
He doesn't stand a chance.
5 hours to go, 5 more hours.
Are we doing that little bit of the tip solid black, or are we leaving it open?
Mine's open. I know for a fact that I can beat out Aaron in this head-to-head. I came here to beat my rival. Now is my opportunity to make sure that Aaron goes home. It's a done deal.
So what do you want to do about background?
I don't know yet, Emily.
I not only have to work with my rival, but I have to beat her. I spent the better part of 5 years taking care of my ex, who I ended up marrying, and then within a year of that, she walked out on me. And I didn't take the time to look out for myself and my own career.
A tiny bit more sculpting in some of these feathers.
What are you sculpting? You're not talking to me.
I need to go forward, and I need to be hauling ass because I'm not letting anyone slow me down ever again.
3 hours remaining.
I am so freaking stressed out of my mind.
Think I should do the clouds over here?
What are you talking about? You gotta do them where they line up, dude.
I just need to shake all this panic off and just do a really kick-ass tattoo.
Yeah, so fill that in a little bit more. What the hell is Mark trying to do? Completely change the background. Have to add more rows of clouds just so the tattoos match up again. I am pissed.
What happened?
Mark changed the background halfway through the tattoo.
Well, go back in here, match it up. Have him hold him like that real quick. That's what we did. We just kept comparing him.
Don's got a problem with his teammate. Why is he telling me?
We're just throwing the towel and say, it. What's it gonna be, Don?
Final hour, 1 hour to go, everybody.
Double arm style?
Let me stop. There it is, baby.
You're doing dark hair, right?
Dark hair, yeah.
It's nerve-wracking knowing I have to go head-to-head with Josh. He is a portrait artist, and I've only done a few portraits. He's just giving me a lot of positive reinforcement, and I feel really good about my tattoo.
Hey, Josh.
Yo.
Do you want to peek at mine so far?
Julia, do a tattoo on your own. Do not rely on me to guide you through it.
Did you go look at Julia's? Holy somebody's probably going home.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Machine's down. Time is up. No more tattooing.
You did good, kid. You did good.
What do you think?
It's awesome, man. Good job.
Chris, who doesn't even do Japanese, did a way better tattoo than Jason. It's obvious that his anxiety is getting to him again. He's slipping. He's definitely not performing at the level that he thinks that he can. You want to be Ink Master? Not gonna happen this way, buddy.
Today, you had to show adaptability by working with another artist to create interlocking tattoos. Josh and Julia, let's start with you. These two designs, when they are interlocked, they don't seem to go together as well as they could.
I disagree. I felt like the angelic face we wanted to keep very light and airy. Obviously, if you go dark, then it won't have that contrast where it looks like good and
I
evil.
think that's where the adaptability part of this challenge would come in, because the idea was to make it look as though it was one connecting, flowing piece. Julia.
The detail is not very nice. The whole shape of her head, that just looks like a weird big toe.
I traced it from the actual picture.
And why do the eyes look crooked?
I don't know. I thought it looked really good when I did it.
Look at the nose. She has no nose bone. If you're gonna shade a face, understand where the shading goes. Don't just wing it.
Let's move along to Josh.
Technically, it's really smooth, and I know it's supposed to be evil, but it is really dark. You got the robe, the skin, the hair, and the horns. At least one of those elements should be tonally different somehow.
The other thing is the eyes aren't the same.
Well, nobody's eyes are ever the same, so for me to make them perfectly
Yeah, but there is no
symmetrical-
excuses. They're just the only highlights in the entire tattoo, so they stick out like a sore thumb.
Final decision?
Josh.
Josh.
Thank you.
Clean and Eric. First, let's talk about the interlocking aspect.
It is a nice, subtle touch to just have the smoke drift across. They go together really well, and they're both strong.
Let's move into specific tattoos, and let's start with clean.
Nice, solid tattoo. Saturation of the black and that blue in the hat with the contrast of the red headband is very nice. Did you put your two front teeth on this skull?
Always. Trademark, baby.
Yeah.
Let's continue on with Eric.
I like the design of the tattoo. I like the way that the hair and the feathers kind of play off each other, hot and cold. The whole tattoo just works really well, man.
Now we're gonna have to hold the judges and see who wins this face-off between Clean and Eric.
Well, Eric, saturation-wise and color-wise, you got a little bit outshined. I gotta go with Clean.
And I'm gonna go with Clean as well.
Clean.
The winner of the face-off is Clean. Emily and Aaron.
It's a tough artistic choice to show adaptability.
It looks like this peacock looked into a mirror and is so hideous that it shattered the mirror. Let's move into Emily's tattoo. I love the head on this peacock. There's some nice detail happening in the face of this bird.
If you're gonna put this much detail into the head, then why not the feathers?
We were definitely going for a stylized look on it.
You took a very grade school attempt at those.
Aaron.
If you're asked for a mirror and feathers, it has to be completely legible. That did not happen. Emily's peacock is a peacock. It is legible.
It was tough. It was tough coming up with the design and the layout.
Maybe if you did a smaller mirror with a handle on it and wrapped feathers around it and did a really ornate handle and do something beautiful, that is your game changer.
Final decision.
Because I immediately recognized what I'm looking at, I'm going with Emily's.
I'm gonna go with Emily as well. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mark and Dawn.
As far as how they match up as one whole tattoo, I wish the clouds met up at the top.
But they're different types of clouds.
Well, they shouldn't be. It should be the same clouds.
That was actually a miscommunication.
I went a more Japanese style with it, and he went a more traditional way.
In terms of adaptability, I think ironing that kind of thing out would have been a key part of this team effort.
Going into Don's tattoo, just outline alone, it's a lot cleaner than Mark's. If you look at your shading in the hull of the ship, it's nice, it's smooth. There's a good gradual fade from brown to light brown, yellow highlights in there. It's a strong looking tattoo.
Mark.
It's very scratchy. I know you can say that it's a beat up old pirate ship, but it's still just technically not really that smooth.
I'm the opposite side. I like this thing. I like the little hidden scully and the torn up sail. The clouds, I really like the way you shaded them. I think it's strong. I like the little wispy purple that you put into the sails. It might not be perfect, but it's tough.
Let's poll the judges for this head-to-head challenge.
Don.
I'm sticking with Mark. I like the tough one.
For just overall readability, I'm going with Don. Congratulations, man. Chris and Jason. How did you guys collectively land on this concept?
We both decided we were gonna do Japanese dragons.
Overall, it's one piece. Obviously, you see the red flame that trickles from one side to the next. Other than that, there's not a whole lot of interlocking.
I think you totally missed working together on the bottom, on the ending of the tattoo. Could have easily found a way to flow those two things together with loose shapes.
Chris.
I look at this dragon, it's very legible. I can follow the twist of this dragon around, leaving the face kind of protruding out towards the front. It makes it more readable from a distance.
Jason. I'm having a hard time picking out this guy's lower jaw.
It's forward, it's protruding.
But there's nothing coming off of the bottom jaw.
I understand what you're saying, but it's because the angle of his head is coming at you more like...
It looks weird, man. It looks like an old man.
Japanese being your specialty, it should be ironclad. This should be very legible. And the fact that it's hard to read and hard to see what's going on is troubling for me.
Final answer?
Chris.
I'm going with Chris.
I'm going with Chris. Chris beat you out on the face. You lost this battle to somebody that doesn't do this. I'm pretty let down on this one.
Today, you had to create interlocking tattoos in teams. Jason, Julia, and Aaron. Any one of you could be justifiably sent home. Jason, you're here because the human canvas jury determined that you had the worst tattoo of the day.
I just had an off moment. I was dealing with anxieties pushing themselves on me.
We had a problem with your tattoo. The fact that it was hard to read. Something that's confusing and hard to read to us, it's definitely gonna be hard to read to them.
I just did a horrible design. I'm trying to put it behind me. I'm here to be the ink master.
This being your specialty, you shouldn't have had those problems.
Aaron.
This looks very remedial.
I'm not super proud of it. I wasn't into the subject matter, which shouldn't play a part, but it did.
That's where then I have issue. It is not fair to be called ink master if you cannot draw a design pleasing enough to yourself to then tattoo.
Julia.
Today, you fell short. The shading in the face, the crooked eye, the hair.
This is not the worst tattoo of the day. I feel like Aaron's was done more poorly than mine.
You see the bridge of that nose, right? That face is...
Did I say it's the best portrait I've ever done? No. I wish I put more detail in there.
You didn't even understand
like,
what the gentleman was saying at this moment.
At least you can see what my tattoo is.
You, on your best day, cannot touch my worst work.
You have a big black blob on someone's arm.
I swear to you, if I go home before these two, I will quit tattooing.
I tattooed my leg for 6 freaking hours because I wanted to be artist.
Just stop. It's one thing to defend your work, it's another thing to fight a losing battle, and you are fighting a losing battle.
The judges have decided. Julia, you do not have what it takes to be ink master. This week, you're being tested on contrast.
If your tattoo doesn't have any contrast, it's just gonna look like a flat crayon design on a piece of paper. If you've got the deep blacks, it's gonna give it a lot of contrast and give it some depth.
Today, your canvases all want their own tattoo of the Kraken in battle on their hands.
Hands?
There's a long list of problems with hand tattoos. Some hands are gonna swell right away. You got veins, bones. There are totally different factors when it comes to hands.
And you must work in teams of 2, tattooing both of your canvas's hands at the same time. What? The Kraken must be in black and gray, while the enemy can be in any color. You must use contrast to make your design dynamic and the battle crystal clear. 3 hours left, 3 more hours.
You're gonna need some background to create some contrast, you know what I mean? You're not gonna have any contrast if you fill it up like that.
Just follow my lead, man. I want you to do exactly what I say.
It should be black, you know what I mean? Contrast, contrast, contrast.
I know St. Mark can do contrast because he won't shut up.
That black background will be the hardest contrast in the whole thing.
I just want to go to Vegas. We don't have time to argue.
Contrast, keep that in mind.
Shut the up.
1 hour remains, final hour.
What are you doing with the little suction cups?
I am just putting a super light wash shading over them. I'm the female frontrunner in this competition. You think you'll have time to do a little bit of mint behind it?
Yeah.
I have to monitor Marissa's tattoo to make sure that we can win this.
You're gonna do your tentacles last, right?
Yep, so I can see yours.
Yep.
Dave is doing the sperm whale. It looks like a shoebox with an eyeball on it. It doesn't even look like a whale to me.
I think it's a nice little playful whale.
He's gonna make me look like a fool up there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is it. Machine's down. Time is up. No more ink.
That's rad, huh?
Awesome.
We are done with this lady.
What are St. Mark and Miami thinking doing 2 solid black hand tattoos on a soccer mom? That looks terrible.
Katie and Marissa, you're up first.
I did the Kraken, Marissa did the shark.
As far as contrast goes, I think the light highlights in the Kraken against the dark black, very, very nice. The shark is a little more rough. There's not a lot of vibrancy that really makes it stand out.
Earl and Duffy. From a few feet away, it's very difficult to tell what's going on.
It was hard to find a happy medium with the background, being that it's supposed to be like a dark scene.
Darker blues on darker skin kills the contrast. Earl, as far as your snake, it's more of a fish.
It's a big head and just a bunch of coils behind it.
Damn, Earl, you need to stay away from these snakes. Go ahead and put it to rest.
Eric and Chris.
A lot of contrast on both sides of the fence and very legible. It's one of the best drawn tattoos we see today.
You created a whole underwater scene happening here. Very cool, guys. MV and Keto.
We went with a dark water and then in contrast, a really bright orange for the background.
I don't think it's that bright.
It goes from a darker tone from this side up to a lighter tone on this side.
I don't think it adds much contrast to his skin.
Oh, we thought we hit it with the contrast.
Miami and St. Mark. You guys are 2 masters. How was it working together?
We really brought the best out in each other.
Technically, they're 2 strong tattoos. You have some very dark areas to contrast with the tentacle section you have up in the foreground. St. Mark, I do like leaving that front tentacle with no detail and just having the small suckers all the way up. Very strong design.
Craig and Tyler.
Overall, they're strong tattoos. The shark really stands out and looks strong, a lot of contrast. My problem with the Kraken, it's hard to see what's going on. You overshade it so you lose some of the contrast.
Tyler's my apprentice. He did exactly what I thought he'd do. It's just flat. It's boring.
Matt and Big C's.
I can definitely see what both of the objects are. The gorilla could have used a much heavier outline and a lot more black. On darker skin, more use of black, less use of gray is always what's gonna last the longest.
Cruzman and Dave.
I like these tattoos. They're simple and bold. The thing that's just bugging me is the ending of the whale on the knuckles. The eye is outlined and finished out, but the shading stops higher than that. That's bugging me.
My part looks awesome. I could strangle Dave Clark right now. He has 100% taken away the chance of me getting my first skull pick.
The judges have decided the winners of today's Flash Challenge are Eric and Chris.
Very clear, strong imagery, mimicking each other's style, very well technically applied.
Thanks, man.
Today, your team must tattoo 3 back pieces on 3 canvases at the same time.
That's crazy.
When placed side by side, all 3 back pieces must create 1 interlocking image.
How the do we do that?
You will have 7 hours to tattoo. How you work together is completely up to you as a team. Good luck.
Sketchy, nice to meet you. John Collins.
Hi, I'm Nikki.
You have 7 hours to tattoo 3 interlocking back pieces. The team that wins the Flash Challenge will be safe from elimination this week. And your time starts now.
All of you, line up, stand up straight, look forward.
In looking for composition in these back pieces, we want one big overall composition between the 3.
That looks great.
Perfect.
This is a tricky test. If you work well as a team, no one will get exposed because your teammates will pick up the pieces if you mess up. However, if the team doesn't get along, then the exposure and the risk is going to be very high.
Question with these, how do you want these to be shaded? The light source would be coming from this side.
We have to make sure that we kill these back pieces right now because we're not about to have somebody leave before the other team.
I think we're ready to go now. Yeah, it's dope.
We're definitely planning on winning this just to set the tone that Team Nunez is going to be first place every time.
Doing 3 tattoos this size simultaneously is nuts.
Am I supposed to be doing black in here?
The only things that aren't black are the background.
We are not communicating well at all.
When you do this, will you leave this like light gray?
Okay, am I doing the helmets too?
Do you want me to do them?
Oh, I don't care. It's up to you.
I know how to take charge if I need to. Someone needs to step in and pull everybody together.
Everyone, Matt is doing the helmets, the shields, and then Nate and Ryan are doing the wings. Hey, Boneface?
You know what would be helpful is if you kept watch.
Somehow I end up as just the guy who's helping out. These guys don't believe in me enough to let me tattoo. I got you. They think I'm the weakest link. If we lose, I don't get the blame.
Try to leave like a kind of a slight harder edge on the left side instead of like a complete soft edge.
Well, then what do you want me to do?
Like how the drawing is.
Nikki's getting off the plan in the middle of this thing. It's too dark.
Everything cool? Nikki's not following directions. She's just throwing in her own style, smoothing the whole thing out. Stay along the graphic line. Careful however smooth you get, because they have to keep up.
What? What? So just don't be smooth?
If one comes out different from the others, you might be on the chopping block for it as a team.
This is why I hate working in teams. I cannot dumb myself down to keep up with the rest of the team.
This is a team move, so you guys all win together, not a solo sport.
Sure. We need our wing shaders in on that piece 2 at a time because it's the biggest and the time is going to be.
Gia is really saving us right now.
Is that black?
That's black.
Okay.
No one could agree, but now it's smooth sailing.
Bloodline race. Dave, did you get that?
Ryan and Gia, they're both like witchy huntresses. Like they see their target and they're like,
Your line weights look identical. It looks like the same person did them.
like no joke. Like
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Machine's down. Time's up. No more ink.
Looking at Team Nunez's design, it seems like they took the easy way out by doing the same image over and over again. I mean, they're doing 3 horses. Wow.
Dude, this is awesome.
Team Peck, you are up first.
Guys, your strengths in this are definitely how consistent they look throughout. The black, the shading, it's really cohesive. Obviously, these tattoos can't sit and touch and actually interlock, but you still have elements that flow from one into the next. Pretty impressive.
It does connect. The thin blue line, that is an extremely thin blue line. And I think that it's nice in terms of it being something that these guys know is there. But most of all, I'm super impressed with just how cohesive it looks.
When it comes to composition, I want to know why St. Michael's head is so far to the left.
Having one side a little offset was more of a joined composition as a scene in a whole. That was what we were going for.
There's so much filler on the right. If that was just pushed over and lined up center, it would have fit better on the body.
Team Nunez, you're up next.
We came up with the 3 horses. We put each other in our strong spots with lining, shading.
That's a load of good quality tattooing, from line work to shading. There are no beat up areas of skin. You guys turned out 3 of the best tattoos that I've seen here.
As far as the composition goes, it's a little stagnant. There doesn't seem to be something that follows through the entire 3 pieces to make them part of a whole. You have 3 profiles of horses, all facing left. The one horse that's reared up the highest, you have a huge area on his back that you can't really tell what's going on. The shapes and the muscle tone with the negative going through it, it's a lot of area to tattoo without a specific purpose.
This is going to be a tough decision. The judges have decided that the winner of the Flash Challenge is Team Peck.
Hell yes. The ball's in our court, and that rules.
2 to 1, baby, 2 to 1.